The literal translation of the Japanese word taiko is big drum. Long ago, taiko were beaten in warfare to boost the morale of the troops and to fool invading armies into believing that a formidable opposition was on the march.
The first time I saw taiko was at the Japanese festival at the Botanical Gardens, which is still probably the biggest taiko venue in St. Louis today. And I was just sort of blown away. It was Hawaii Matsuri Taiko they were playing. They looked so happy, and they were beating those drums so hard. I thought it was great. And as soon as I found out I could do that in St. Louis, I immediately signed up.
To me, taiko is a blast. I have so much fun playing it. It's such a powerful form of music. It's not just like Western style drumming where your wrists are just moving like this. It's all about the movement too. The sound is big, the movements are big, so to be at the center of that and creating it, I love it. I love it. It's so much fun.
When I first saw taiko performed, I thought they looked so hardcore, and I wanted to be hardcore like they were. It was just so intense. They all had these like huge arm muscles, and they were really cool looking. And when I play taiko, I feel strong, and I feel hardcore, and I feel graceful at the same time. It's like this brute force, but also this intense serenity and grace. And it's unusual to do something where all of that can be wrapped up in one. Well, with our group, there is definitely a dynamic of different people stepping up and taking a lead at different times, and other people following, and then another song will come along where those people will take a lead. We all have our own strengths. We all have our own weaknesses, so it's definitely a great aspect of our group that we can step back and recognize everyone's talents. Because as long as we are humble enough to realize that there are certain things we're not good at, that's when someone else can step up and really help us. I think we improve as a group because we're able to acknowledge that.
I mean, it definitely evolves from practice to performance, and it better, right? It has to get better, because in the beginning there's always some rough spots. You know, sometimes it can be as basic as just even remembering, you know, what the lines are. It really takes great strides from the time that we just first break it out at practice, from the time that we're on stage. Plus, there's something about performing that there's always things that are very, very different than just, you know, in the safe place of our practice studio. It's the adrenaline, and for me it's feeding off the crowd, actually looking into people's eyes out into the crowd and hearing their reaction and seeing, you know, them clapping or even gasping. So that to me is really great, that whole interaction.
most people, if they've never heard Taiko before, it's like, wow, that is so cool. I never knew something like this existed, but it's been around for a really long time. So it's cool to be bringing something new that's not new to people that have never seen it before. Oni Daiko is fastly becoming one of my favorite songs. I really like the intro. It's so dramatic and it's so slow and serene, and then all of a sudden, bam, everyone just starts jumping in, just going 100 miles an hour is really cool.
In Japanese, Oni Daiko means demon drumming. This is actually a tradition that's been going on in Japan for over 500 years, and primarily on a small island off of the west coast of the main island, this place called Sado. The demons doing this, these performers, it's meant to ward off evil and bring a bountiful harvest. So actually, even though they're demons, they do good things.
The best compliment that I can get after a show is when someone comes up and says, "You look like you are having so much fun up on stage." And that's the best compliment I can receive, because even despite the concentration and the hard work, we're still trying to have fun and make it look like we're having fun.
When I first heard about the beginner's class, I was like, oh, this is cool, I want to try it. I didn't really have aspirations of joining the group because I had no musical experience in the past. And I just worked really hard at it, and you get more than what you put into it. So if you just try it, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain.